Excluded from my sister's wedding, I took a vacation. When the wedding fell apart, my entire family desperately tried to contact me. "You're overreacting. It's just a wedding," my mother remarked. I was not included in my own sister's wedding. Instead, I planned a trip. A few days later, my relatives flooded my phone with messages. I sat there looking at my screen, reading the text for the 5th time. "Hey, just wanted to inform you that the guest list is finalized and we had to make some difficult cuts. Hope you understand. Love you." Difficult cuts. Difficult cuts. I wasn't some distant relative. I wasn't an old family friend whom they hadn't seen in years. I was her brother. And my sister, the same sister I had supported through every challenge, heartbreak, and moment of uncertainty, had just dismissed me as an afterthought. I glanced at the screen, a slow wave of disbelief spreading in my chest. I almost laughed because this had to be an error. I picked up the phone and called my mother. She answered on the second ring, her tone cheerful. "Hey sweetheart, what's up?" I didn't bother with small talk. "I just received a message from Emily. She states the guest list is finalized and I'm not included." There was a pause just long enough to confirm what I had suspected. "Oh honey," my mother sighed. She always used that tone to make me feel unreasonable. "It's just a wedding. Don't make a big deal out of this. Just a wedding." I felt a hot, stinging knot in my stomach. "Are you serious?" I asked, my voice oddly steady. "Mom, I'm her brother. How am I not invited to my own sister's wedding?" She made a tisk sound as if I were a toddler throwing a tantrum. "It's not personal. They needed to keep the guest list small." "And Mom," I interrupted her. "I just saw Emily's Instagram post. She invited 150 people." Silence, then a forced laugh. "Well, you know how things are. Weddings are costly. And perhaps they thought you wouldn't mind missing this one." I felt as though I had been punched in the stomach. "Wouldn't mind?" I asked. "Mom, I've been there for Emily through everything. I helped her move twice. When she lost her job, we paid half of her rent. And I was the one who helped her get over her last breakup. But now I'm not significant enough to be present on her special day." "Oh, stop being dramatic," my mother said with a sigh. "It's just one day. You're overreacting." I laughed briefly without any humor. Overreacting, right? I could already foresee how things would unfold. I would argue. My mother would dismiss me. Emily would undoubtedly offer a lukewarm apology later. I'd be anticipated to forgive and forget as that is what I've always done. Not this time. Something inside me broke. If I wasn't deemed worthy of inclusion, then fine, I wouldn't be. I ended the call without a word and started scrolling through my phone. If I wasn't planning to go to Emily's wedding, then I would be somewhere much more enjoyable. I was heading on a vacation. The more I pondered it, the angrier I grew. I wasn't the kind of guy who got upset over trivial things. I had previously let a lot slide. Emily had consistently overlooked my birthday. She would only reach out when she wanted something. Our mother always wanted me to play the understanding role. Emily managed to evade consequences. But this was a completely new level of disregard. I wasn't going to sit around sulking while my sister and the rest of the family celebrated happy little wedding without me. If I wasn't important enough to be included, then I certainly wasn't important enough to be there when they needed me. I grabbed my laptop and started searching for flights. If Emily could have the happiest day of her life, then I intended to enjoy the best week of mine. It took less than an hour to arrange. I booked all-inclusive accommodations at a 5-star resort in the Caribbean with an ocean view, spa services, and access to a private beach. I had always convinced myself that such a trip would be too expensive. Not this time. I wasn't merely traveling for a vacation. I was making a statement. When the wedding weekend came, I was already on a plane relishing champagne in first class. I ensured to upload a picture, legs stretched out, drink in hand, with the caption, "Guess I got cut from the guest list, but I think I'll manage." The reactions were almost instant. Some of my cousins sent laughing emojis. My aunt, the only sensible person in the family, commented, "Good for you. Should have taken me with you." But what was the best reaction? That came from my mother. She sent me 3 texts back to back. Mom asks, "Where are you?" My mom, "Are you really missing your sister's wedding over this?" Mother, "You're being childish." Childish? I wasn't even close to being finished. I replied with a photo of the beach showcasing white sand, a crystal blue ocean, and a postcard. Perfect view. Then I turned off my phone. I wasn't going to let them guilt trip me. Not this time. For the first time in many years, I was not prioritizing my family. I was putting myself first. And it felt amazing. By the time I reached paradise, I had completely eliminated any residual guilt. The moment I exited the airport, the warm ocean breeze greeted me, carrying the scent of salt and tropical blooms. A private car was ready to transport me to the resort. A sleek black SUV with chilled towels and bottled water in the back seat. Yeah, this was way better than a wedding. As we cruised down the coast, I reflected on how right I had been to do this. Back home, my family was presumably engaged in preparations for the big day. My mother was likely making excuses for my absence. My sister was laughing with her bridesmaids, not giving me a second thought, but I wasn't treated as an afterthought here. Here, I was the focus. My focus. The resort was something out of a dream. The lobby has towering palm trees blooming inside, a massive open-air design that welcomed the ocean breeze, and the type of service where you receive a cocktail before checking in. My room was surreal. Floor-to-ceiling windows and a private balcony and the most stunning king-sized bed I'd ever seen. I tossed my belongings down, stepped out onto the balcony, and simply absorbed it all. Then, just to aggravate matters further, I took a picture of the view and shared it with this caption. When one door closes, another one opens, preferably to a beachside suite with unlimited margaritas. I knew it would make its way back to my family. And honestly, I hoped it did because for once, they could comprehend what it felt like to be excluded. And I was just getting started. The first full day of my trip was utterly fantastic. I kicked off the morning with room service, which included fluffy pancakes, fresh fruit, and coffee that was so exquisite it spoiled every cup I'd ever tried. Then I spent the entire day doing exactly what I wanted. No responsibilities. There's no family drama, just me, the ocean, and a time focused solely on my own enjoyment. By the afternoon, I was lounging on a sunbed by the infinity pool, martini in hand, watching the waves come in. Occasionally, I'd check my phone, not to connect with my family, but to see the growing number of responses to my vacation blogs. The comments were priceless. Cousin Jake, bro, where are you even? Aunt Lisa, okay, now you're just flaunting. An old college friend says, dude, invite me next time. Finally, I got a notification that caused me to grin. Emily noticed your article. Oh, now she was interested. I could easily picture her reaction. Sitting in the bridal suite sipping cheap champagne, browsing through Instagram only to witness me living my best life while she fretted about her wedding. Good. I leaned back, took another sip of my drink, and thought, enjoy your special day, sister. I hope it's exactly what you wished for. However, as the sun started to go down, something strange happened. My phone began to buzz incessantly. At first, I dismissed it. I assumed it was just more people responding to my pictures, but then I recognized certain names. Mom, Emily, Cousin Jake, even Uncle Rob. Call after call. Texts were pouring in without a pause. I raised an eyebrow and eventually unlocked my phone. The first message I spotted was from my mother. Mom, call me. It's an emergency. An emergency? Attending the wedding? I sighed, contemplating whether I actually cared. Jake then sent another text. Jake's reaction. Dude, you won't believe what just happened. Oh, now I was intrigued. I sat up and scrolled through the messages, and I quickly realized that the universe had gifted me the most wonderful wedding surprise I could ever wish for. Because, as fate would have it, Emily's stunning wedding had gone up in flames. I sifted through a barrage of messages. My smirk widened with each one. Jake wrote, bro, you dodged a bullet. Mom, call me right now. This is a family emergency. Emily, please. Where are you? I need you. I stretched out in my lounge chair. I took another sip of my cocktail and continued scrolling. Then I found a message that made me chuckle. According to cousin Melissa, the groom walked out. I nearly choked on my drink. Did the groom actually leave? Oh, this was beyond my expectations. My curiosity piqued. So, I finally texted Jake back. My reply. What do you mean he left? Jake? Dude, during the reception, total meltdown. He and Emily had a massive fight, and then he just walked out. Straight up left the venue. Jake texted again. Oh, and then Uncle Rob and Dad got into a shouting match over who was damaging the family's reputation. Grandma cried. The venue shut down the bar early. It's chaos. I leaned back, smirking. My sister had insisted I not attend her wedding, thinking she didn't need me. And now, suddenly, I was the first person they all rushed towards. I could already hear my mother's voice in my head. You need to fix this. Emily is heartbroken. Yes, no thanks. I opened the next message. It was from Emily. Emily said, answer your phone, please. I need you. Oh, suddenly I mattered. I took a deep breath and typed a single reply. Me, sorry, I'm a bit busy reveling in my overreaction. Hope the wedding went well. Then I blocked her phone number. I blocked my mother as well. I also blocked Jake just in case he got caught up in their guilt trip scheme. Then I set my phone to do not disturb, signaled the bartender, and requested another drink because while my family panicked, I was in paradise. And for once, I wasn't bothered. The next morning, I woke to the sound of waves crashing on the shore. The scent of the sea and tropical blossoms drifted through my open balcony doors. I stretched and yawned, and for one delightful minute, I almost forgot about the chaos back home. Almost. Then I glanced at my phone. Even though I blocked most of my family, I still had over 20 missed calls from unknown numbers. They attempted everything to reach me. Several voicemails had gotten through. Against my better judgment, I pressed play on the first one. Mom's voice was alarmed. "I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is not the time for one of your tantrums. Your sister is devastated, and we need you here. This family needs to unite right now." I rolled my eyes before deleting it. Next voicemail. Emily was in tears. "I don't understand why you're doing this. You're my brother. I need you. Please just call me back." Click. Deleted. The next one made me laugh. Jake whispered as if he were hiding in a closet. "Dude, Mom and Aunt Lisa plan to show up at your apartment when you return. Just a heads up. Also, Grandma keeps saying the wedding was cursed because you weren't there. It's hilarious." Was that a voicemail? I've saved. I tossed my phone onto the bed and stepped out onto the balcony. The sun had just begun to rise, casting a golden light over the ocean. I took a deep breath, letting the warmth soak in. Back at home, my family was scrambling to manage the fallout. Meanwhile, I was present enjoying espresso while donning a bathrobe, relishing the best decision I'd ever made. And the most enjoyable aspect was that they were now experiencing what I had felt when they excluded me. Unwanted, forgotten, left out. It was quite poetic, to be honest. But I wasn't done yet. I picked up my phone. I snapped a picture of my breakfast, which featured fluffy pancakes, fresh fruit, and a mimosa that was so bright it might dazzle someone, and shared it with this caption. "Beginning my day without stress. Hope everyone back home is managing all right." Then, just for amusement, I scrolled through my blocked messages, smiled at all of the missed calls, and ordered another mimosa. I had no intention of returning their calls. Let them sort out their own problems. I was on holiday. By midday, I was unwinding under a quiet cabana, sipping a tropical drink with an umbrella when my phone buzzed once more. This time the message was from cousin Melissa. "Melissa, all right, I know you're upset and honestly, you have every right to be, but you need to listen to what happened after the wedding. Give me a call. You're going to find this entertaining." I raised an eyebrow. Melissa has always been the only cousin with intelligence. If she said that I needed to hear something, it was likely worthwhile. So against my better judgment, I called her. She picked up immediately. "Oh my God, you're finally picking up," she exclaimed, barely containing her excitement. "Okay, are you seated?" I looked around in my shaded cabana, the vast ocean before me and the cold drink in my hand. "Yeah, I think I'm ready for whatever this is." Melissa let out a breathless laugh. "All right." After the groom departed, Emily had a total breakdown. And I don't mean just a few tears. I'm talking about screaming, crying, and throwing things at the wedding party. I smirked. "That sounds about right." Melissa went on, her voice filled with excitement. Everyone was trying to get her to calm down. Mom overheard Aunt Lisa say that the disaster could have been prevented. "If you had been there," I blinked. "Wait, what?" Melissa chuckled. "Yes, she was saying that you've always been the one to fix issues when Emily loses it. That if you were there, you would have talked sense into the groom or managed everything as you usually do." I burst out laughing. "So, just to clarify, the same family that excluded me from the wedding is now blaming me for not being there to save it." "Oh, it gets even better," Melissa said. "Mom told Lisa she was being ridiculous. And then they started arguing loudly. Then Grandma chimed in, saying Emily brought this on herself by offending the universe for not inviting her brother." I nearly choked on my drink. Melissa was now cackling. Grandma scolded Emily in front of everyone, saying, "If you had treated your family better, you wouldn't be alone in your wedding dress right now." I leaned back, grinning. "Wow, that's poetic." "Oh, and then Melissa said, your mother tried to reach out to the groom's family to sort things out." His mother just smiled and replied, "This is your problem now." I had to put down my drink to keep from spilling it from laughing so hard. "So," I said, catching my breath, "where does that leave Emily?" Melissa sighed, still crying, still blaming everyone but herself. The last I heard, she was trying to salvage the wedding with some kind of backup plan. But let's be honest, she's not going to bounce back from this. I shook my head, grinning. "You know what the best part is?" "What?" I took a slow sip from my drink. "I don't care." Melissa burst into laughter. "Honestly, I don't blame you. I just thought you'd like to know that karma worked perfectly." "Oh, I love hearing that," I responded, smirking. "Thanks for keeping me updated, Melissa." "No problem," she said. "Enjoy your trip. And just so you know, you made the right choice." I hung up, feeling more satisfied than I had in years. They wanted a wedding without me. And now, because of their own selfishness, they had a disaster instead. I lifted my drink and raised it to the sky. And I toasted to the best decision I've ever made. Then I powered off my phone and reclined back in my cabana. Let the beach breeze carry away the remnants of my shame. For the rest of the day, I didn't check my phone. Instead, I arranged a sunset cruise. I let the warm wind envelop me and enjoyed a 5-star meal by the shore. My family was still dealing with the fallout from Emily's wedding disaster. I was relishing the finest steak I'd ever tasted. At one point, a thought crossed my mind. Maybe I should feel pity for her. Then I remembered how she excluded me without a second thought. No way. I took a sip of my wine. I captured one last photo of the view and shared it with a single caption. 0 regrets. Finally, with a content smile, I turned off my phone again. Let them stew. I was finished being their backup option. The next morning, I woke up feeling lighter than I had in years. There was no guilt. There would be no stress. There were no last-minute family crises that became my responsibility to resolve. Just me, the sound of waves, and an entire day dedicated to relaxation. I stretched, ordered room service, and out of curiosity, I powered my phone back on. A significant error. Within moments, my notifications exploded. Mom said, "You need to stop acting like a child and call me." Emily's message. "I can't believe you're treating me like this. You are so selfish. Your mother. This isn't amusing. Emily is devastated. Do you even care?" Unknown number. Likely my aunt. "We need to mend this family before it's too late." I groaned and shook my head. It was almost astonishing how quickly they shifted from ignoring me to expecting me to fix everything. Then one message caught my eye. "Melissa, okay, I know you're ignoring everyone, but please read this. Your mother is trying to bring the family together for a conversation when you get back. Just a heads up." I almost laughed out loud. Oh, they assumed I would return as if nothing had occurred. As though I'd just show up and let them guilt-trip me into pretending the whole thing never happened. Yeah, not a chance. I quickly replied to Melissa. "Thanks for the heads up, but I won't be attending." Melissa wrote back, "Wait, what do you mean? Me? I'm extending my trip. They wanted to exclude me. Alright, I'm completely cutting myself off." I could almost envision her response. A mix of shock and amusement. A few seconds later, she answered, "Melissa, okay, that's legendary. Fill me in on everything when you return, whenever that might be, LOL." I smiled, set my phone down, and picked up my laptop. With a few swipes, my trip was now officially lengthened. Another full week. There's no family. There's no drama, no family discussions, merely me and the water. They never let me find tranquility. And the best aspect, they couldn't do a thing about it. Before heading to the beach, I sent one last message. "Me, Mom, and Emily. Oh, so you desire my presence? Sorry, I'm far too occupied relishing my reactions. Enjoy tackling your own issues." Then for the final time, I blocked their contacts. I set my phone down, ordered another beverage, and allowed the sun to warm my skin. There is no guilt. There will be no stress, no regrets, just serenity, and it was the best choice I've ever made. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so and press the notification bell to remain updated with more astonishing real-life stories occurring around.